Hello to all. Good morning. Good morning to all. Wake up. Wake up. It's morning 7. Wake up. It's morning 7. Very happy to see increase of strength in the morning class. Yes, please ask your friends to come live. The reason of coming live is I'm not saying the class is going live, but I am present over there. And at any point, if you are having any doubt, I'm there to help you. Right? Whenever you are typing, I'm trying my level best that you get the reply. So just ask your friends to join this session. Click on the like button and share with your friends. Okay. So myself Abhishek Bhartiya sir, I am taking a SOM in the morning and survey in the evening in the RSMSSB batch. Okay. So in the morning we are studying the strength of material where we have completed the SFD BMD and we have started the first module of stress transformation and principal stress. Okay. So basically, I'm a GATE and ESE expert, and I have qualified the GATE 5 times, and ESEP and mains in 2015. I qualified with the great GATE score of 637. Okay, I am teaching since 2015, so you can understand my experience in the teaching and my subjects of expertise, that the expertise I'm having on the strength of material, structural analysis, geotech, open channel survey, environment and CPM part. So these are the 7 subjects which I used to take. Okay. So without wasting any time, I am starting with my subject because strength of material is the one of the biggest subject of the civil engineering, right? I'm not saying biggest, but one of the biggest. Okay. So till now, how is the understanding? How your understanding? Is it proper? Are you able to understand each and every point? Yes or no? Yes or no? Please ask your friends to come soon. Please share the link. And if you're not hitting the like button, you are not doing proper thing for me. Okay. Okay then. So this is the second module of the stress transformation and principal stress. Right. Yesterday, yesterday we have seen we have seen the basic about principal stress, principal plane and its location. So what you know about principal plane, what you know about principal plane, or what you know about any plane that is passing through a point. At a point, at a point, how many planes can pass? Come on, comment. At a point, how many plane can pass? At a point, how many plane can pass? Infinite. Okay. So at each plane, we know there can be how many stress. At each plane, there can be how many stress. And what is its nature? At each plane, there can be how many stress and what is its nature? There are two. And what is the nature? One normal, one shear. Yes or no? You know this? Okay. Now, what I'm telling further, that out of these infinite planes, there exist what? There exist three mutually perpendicular plane at which shear stress is zero. At which shear stress is zero. Yes or no? So we are saying such plane as principal plane, and the normal stress acting on such plane is referred as principal stress, that we have seen yesterday. Then what else we know? That in 3 dimension there are 3 principal plane, whereas in 2 dimension you can see only 2 principal plane. Okay, third will be in the other direction. Then what we know further? For a point, if I'm talking, then principal stress is the maximum or minimum value of normal stress that can act at a point. This we also know. Okay. Now we have derived the location of principal plane. We have derived the location of principal plane. Yes, we have derived the location of principal plane. We have found the location of the principal plane, and we have got the formula tan 2 theta p is equal to 2 tau hy upon sigma x minus sigma y. Yes or no? We got this formula. If you remember, this was the last thing that I discussed yesterday, right? So we have got this formula by taking into consideration that the principal stress is the maximum or minimum normal stress that can act at a point. Okay, now from this, what I'm going to find, I'm going to find, or I'm going to prove that shear stress is zero on the principal plane. Okay, so we already know the location of the principal plane, and now I'm going to prove that shear stress is zero on the principal plane. So we know the location. So if I see this tan 2 theta p and express this in the form of a triangle, okay, so I'm showing the angle with respect to the horizontal as 2 theta p. Okay, so this base will be what? Sigma x minus sigma y. Yes, and the height will be 2 tau hy. Then only you can write tan 2 theta p is equal to 2 tau hy upon sigma x minus sigma y. So what is this hypotenuse here? What is this hypotenuse? This hypotenuse will be sigma x minus sigma y whole square plus tau hy whole square, which I am writing as h, which is indicating the hypotenuse. Okay, so any doubt till now you are having? Yes, any doubt you are having till now, please ask. Don't fear from asking questions, sir. It's your right to ask questions from me. Okay, so please ask the questions. If you are having any doubt, kindly comment in the chat box if you are live. If you are in the recorded section, if you are listening to the recorded lecture, you can comment in the comment box. I will be there to write the answer, right? Okay, so what we know about shear stress that is acting on any plane inclined at angle theta. What we write? Sigma y minus sigma x into sine 2 theta by 2 plus tau hy into cos 2 theta. Yes or no? We write this, yes or no? So from here, what I can write? What I can write about sine 2 theta, because theta now I am talking about the principal plane. So I can use the triangle relation. So what is sine 2 theta? What I can write about sine 2 theta? Nothing but 2 tau hy upon h. Yes or no? I can write this plus tau hy. What is cos 2 theta, dear? What is cos 2 theta? Nothing but sigma x minus sigma y by h. Any doubt in this part? Any doubt in this part? Yes, any doubt in this part, please ask. Any doubt you are having, please ask. Okay, so I'm cancelling 2 first. Okay, now can I take tau hy by h common? Can I take tau hy by h common? So by doing so, I will get sigma y minus sigma x plus sigma x minus sigma y, yes or no? So can you see the cancellation? Sigma y cancel, sigma h cancel. That means the interior term become equal to 0, the bracket term become equal to 0. So overall also it will become equal to 0. So have I proved that the shear stress on the principal plane is equal to 0? Is it clear? Yes or no? You can also follow the opposite step. You can find the location of the principal plane assuming that shear stress is equal to 0. You get the location, and from that location prove that when you put that value in the sigma n equation, right, then you prove that when you maximize it, when you differentiate it, it become equal to 0, right? This is the another way some people follow, but what I am giving is the ESE standard. Okay, whenever in the ES they will ask you the question, they will ask the question this pattern itself. Is it clear? Okay, so that is the part when the you are proving that shear stress is 0 on the principal. Okay, next is okay, next what you are going to write, principal stress. That means I want to find the values of principal stress. So what I'm writing in the note itself, see, I'm directly giving the formula because the derivation is not required. So I'm directly giving the formula. Sigma P1 P2 is equal to sigma x plus sigma y by 2 plus minus root over sigma x minus sigma y by 2 whole square plus 2 times tau hy whole square. Okay, sorry, tau hy whole square. Okay, so this is given for the sigma P1 P2 where you know what is sigma h, sigma y and tau hy, right? Now I want to write what is sigma P1 and what is sigma P2. So sigma P1 we write as maximum principal stress. Sigma P1 we write as maximum principal stress. Okay, or we write as maximum tensile stress. Okay, or we write as maximum tensile stress, or we write as minimum compressive stress, or we write as minimum compressive stress. Is it clear? What my point? Whereas, so for this, what I'm going to do, there are two sign, plus and minus. For getting sigma P1, I will use always plus sign. Okay, for sigma P1, I will always use plus sign. Now for sigma P2, we write this as minimum principal stress, or we say this as minimum tensile stress. I hope my writing is very clear to you, right? I want you to, whenever I will give the PDF, you keep that PDF till the end of your life, till when you are working, right? I want that kind of PDF should go with you. Okay, next is, I can also write this as maximum compressive stress. Now let me explain this. Okay, for this sigma P2 you will take minus. So let me explain this part. I'm giving you example. Okay, suppose you got principal stress. I'm not saying maximum minimum right now. Principal stress. Okay, one value you got 8, the other value got 4. These are the principal stress. So both are positive, right? So if both are positive, then the greater will be sigma P1. Okay, and the smaller will be sigma P2 because positive represents tensile stress. Is it clear? So you have written sigma P1 as maximum tensile stress. Okay, and you have written sigma P2 as minimum tensile stress. So when you have two results, the greater positive value will represent maximum and the greater and the smaller positive value will represent sigma P2. Next, suppose you got the value 1 positive, 1 negative. Suppose one you got -4, 8, other you got 4. Okay, suppose one you got -8, other you got 4. So this 4 is sigma P1 and -8 is sigma P2. Why? Because I want the sigma P1 to be, if there are tension and compression, then tension will be sigma P1 and compression will be sigma P2. So plus will go with sigma P1 and minus will go with sigma P2. Now let's suppose both are, one is -8, another is -4. So -8 is greater compression and -4 is smaller compression. So look at the definition. So what we can write? Can anyone tell me what is sigma P1 and what is sigma P2? Yes. Can anyone tell me what is sigma P1 and sigma P2? Come on fast. Come on fast. Can anyone tell me what is sigma P1 and sigma P2? Yes. Can anyone tell me what is sigma P1 and sigma P2? Come on, comment fast. Comment fast. Can anyone tell me what is sigma P1 and sigma P2? Can anyone tell me what is sigma P1 and sigma P2? Yes? Yes? Very good. We write -4 as sigma P1 and -8 as sigma. I hope you understood this, right? So I have given you 3 examples to let you understand the meaning of sigma P1, P2 and P3. Is it clear? Say, is this point clear to all? Yes? Yes? Any doubt? Any doubt, please ask. Any doubt, please ask. Any doubt, please ask. Any doubt, please ask. Sure? Sure? Okay. So let us proceed with the question. Question number 1. So what does the question number 1 say? That for the structural element, shown in the figure, determine principal stress, and location of principal plane, and location of principal plane. Okay, it is also given that show all the stresses with a neat sketch. Show all the stresses with a neat sketch. Okay, so this is given to you in the question, right? And you have been given the structural element. You have been given the structural element with the values of 50 megapascal in the x direction, 50 megapascal in the x direction, 40 megapascal in the y direction. Okay, 40 megapascal in the y direction and 30 megapascal due to shear, and 30 megapascal due to shear. 30 megapascal due to shear. See, I will make this subject very easy for you. I hope you are having trust on me now. You are having trust? Yes or no? You are having trust on me? Yes? So I am going to make this subject very easy for you. Okay, just have patience. You will. Right. Swam require patience because to understand something better now, you need to give time. If you think that if you learn at an instant, it's not possible. Okay. I will show you something different, that is for sure. Okay. So this is given and you need to find sigma P1, P2 and theta P, and you need to show it with a sketch. So that you leave to me. Okay. So first of all, what is sigma H, sigma Y, tau Hy? Yes, write these values first. What is sigma H in megapascal, sigma Y in megapascal, and tau Hy in megapascal? What are these three values? What are these three values? What are the value of sigma H, sigma Y, and tau Hy? What are the values of sigma H, sigma Y, and tau Hy? Yes. What are the values of sigma H, sigma Y, and tau Hy? Come on. Come on. What are the values of sigma H, sigma Y, and tau Hy? Comment in the comment box, dear. Sigma H is 50, sigma Y is 40, tau Hy is 30. All are plus, no minus. Sign is very important. Okay. Now, I want sigma P1, P2, and I don't want you to use the calculator. No calculator. Not allowed. Without calculator, solve. Solve without calculator. See whether you can get or not. Okay. So first of all, I'm writing the formula. Sigma P1, P2 is equal to sigma H plus sigma Y by 2 plus minus root over sigma H minus sigma Y by 2 whole square plus tau Hy whole square. Okay. So first of all, get the results for this equation. First of all, get the results for this equation. We don't use any calculator for getting sigma P1, P2. Right. First, find the root values and everything. And for sigma P1, you will be doing plus. For sigma P2, you will be doing minus. Yes, please solve. Get the value of sigma P1 and sigma P2. I'm writing the formulas. The reason being, most of you don't remember the formulas. Right. So I'm writing the formula here itself so that you don't face problem in this part. For that reason, I'm writing the formula. Yes. For sigma, for tan theta, you need the calculator. You don't have any other option. But for this part, that is sigma P1, P2, you don't require calculator. I will show that. I will show that. I will show that. Yes. Yes. So what you can write about sigma H? That is 50, right? What is sigma Y? Nothing but 40 by 2 plus minus root over sigma H is 50, sigma Y is 40, and this is divided by 2 whole square plus tau Hy is 30 and again whole square. So outside you will get 50 plus 40, 90 by 2, which is 45, plus minus root over 50 minus 40 is 10, 10 by 2 is 5, 5 square plus 30 square. Yes or no? So what result you are going to get? 45 plus minus 30 square is 900, 5 square is 25. So it is root over 925. Yes or no? So I hope you know how to find the root value. Yes. Suppose you need to find, I'm giving here just a explanation. Okay. Just a small explanation. Suppose you need to find the value of root 2. How you used to find? You put 2 decimals, suppose. Okay. So how you used to find? You see the multiple square of a number which is either equal to 2 or less than 2. So 1 banja 1, subtracted, you get 1, you put 2 0. Okay, so first of all you use 1, so writing 1, then decimal comes, so write the decimal. Now add 1 and 1, so it will come 2. Now multiply a number such that that number comes in the unit digit, and with the same number you are multiplying. So if I multiply 4 into 4, that is 24 into 4, so you get 96. Yes, so this become 4, now it's 400, so it become 28. Now again a number should be placed in the unit digit, and the same number should be multiplied with the entire number, so that it is either equal to 400 or less than 400. So I can see that 281 into 1 is 281. Okay, so after what point you use 4, then 1. Similarly, you get the value as 1.414. Is it clear? So that is the entire process. I'm not going to do. Okay, those who are having problem in the root, for them I'm saying this. Okay, then I am getting root 925. So how I am going to proceed? If I take 2 zeros, suppose after the decimal, 4 zeros with 2 sets. So we know that if I move right to left, we'll take 2 at a time, and the last that is left, that can be taken as a 1. Okay, so first of all, see a number that is square of, that is, take a number whose square is either equal to 9 or less than 9. So we can take 3 square, which is exactly equal to 9. So if I subtract, it becomes 25. So the first multiple you use as 3. Then 3 plus 3, that is 6. Okay, 3 plus 6, 3, that is 6. So any number which you add cannot be less than 25. Yes or no? So we need to place 1 0. Okay, and let us put 1 0 0. Okay, so 6, if you take 0, you have to take 0 at the left hand side also, right? And if I multiply with 4, if I add 4 in the unit digit of 60, and if I multiply with 4, I will get 2416. Okay, so that is 84. I multiply, I got 100. 604, right? So I multiply with 4. Now 604, 1 1 is a 1, so it is 6041. So for you, I'm doing so much. In the exam, I'm not going to solve with so much accuracy for the ESU objective, because for the gate objective, you will be having the virtual calculator. You can use that, right? A maximum, I'll go one decimal after the one digit after the decimal, right? So I'm writing 45 plus minus 30 point is 30.41. Are you getting my point? Yes. So from here, what is sigma P1? 45 plus 30.41, which is nothing but 75.41 megapascal. Is it clear? And what is sigma P2? Nothing but 45 minus 30.41. Okay, that is how much? That is how much? Yes, that is how much? That is 9 point. That is 45 minus 30, that is 15. 15 minus 0.41, that is 14 point what? 59 megapascal. Okay, 14.59 megapascal. So this is sigma P1 and sigma P2. Now you got sigma P1 and sigma P2. I am going to find tan 2 theta P. So this is equal to 2 times tau hy. Tau hy is 30. Sigma h is 50. Sigma y is 40. Get the result here. Get the result. Get the result. Get the result. Get the result. Get the result fast. Get the result first. See, what is 50 minus 40? 10. Cancelled out. So, what is 2 theta p? Tan inverse 6. Yes or no? So, if I want theta p, so it will be what? Half of tan inverse 6. Yes or no? So, this will give you first principal plane. Get the value of 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 first principal plane. Yes. Get the value of first principal plane inclination with respect to the vertical. You will be getting positive value of 40.268 degree. Okay, you are getting the positive value of 40.268. Please, it's a request. Once you are completed, please write in the comment box 40.268 degree. Okay, so what will be theta P2? Nothing but theta P1 plus 90. So what is the value? 130.268 degree. So you got theta P2 as 130.268 degree. Are you able to get my point? Okay. So see here, we have one sigma P1, we have one sigma P2, we have one theta P1, we have one theta P2. Okay. Do I know that which sigma P1 is applied for which angle? That means I don't know that principal plane having the inclination of theta P1 and theta P2, it contains what value of normal stress? I can say that the principal plane with theta P1 may have sigma P1, right? It may have sigma P2. Or if I say theta P2 may have sigma P1, then other will have sigma P2. So I don't know. You're getting my point? So for this, I need to do a cross check. I need to do a cross check. So how I'm going to do a cross check? See, this sigma P1 is what? Nothing but normal stress. Sigma P2 is what? Nothing but normal stress. And theta is what? The slope with respect to the vertical. Theta is what? The slope with respect to the vertical. So we know a general equation. In which the normal stress acting at any point, okay, at any plane inclined angle theta can be determined if I know the value of sigma h, sigma y, and tau xy. So I'm putting that sigma n is equal to sigma h cos square theta plus sigma y sin square theta plus 2 tau hy cos theta sin theta. Okay. So I am taking for the analysis for simplicity 40.268 as theta. I'm taking theta as 40.268. Okay. I'm taking sigma h, which is already given in the question, that is 50. Sigma y is given as 40 and tau hy is given as 30. So you need to calculate one by one. I'm going to calculate along with you. Please get the value of sigma n. And it is very sure that this sigma n should come either 75.41 or 14.59. Is it clear? So angle is 40.268 cos square and this multiplied with 50. So we got the value as 29.1106. 9, so I'm taking 7 plus 40.268 sine square into 40. So we are getting the value as 16.7114. Okay, I'm taking till the fourth decimal so that the error could not come. Then 40.268 cos into 40.268 sine. Okay, and this multiplied with 60. So this I am getting as 29.5917. So if I add all 29.5917 plus 16.7114 plus 29.1107, this is equal to 75.4138. See, it is exactly matching. Yes or no? You can see that. Okay, so from here what you got? From here what you got, that on a principal plane of theta p1, the sigma p1 will exist, and on the principal plane of angle theta p2, sigma p2 will exist. So with this cross check, I have proved this one. Okay, I have proved this. Any doubt? Any doubt in this part? Just see. I'm bringing it in one frame. Just see. Any doubt? Any doubt till yet? Please ask. Any doubt till yet? Please ask. I have let you understand how to find the root value, right? I've let you understand how to find the root value. I've let you understand how to do the cross check so that you understand at which principal plane what normal stress is acting. Okay. Now listen very carefully. Now listen very carefully. You need to draw the sketch. You need to draw the sketch. Okay. So see how to draw the sketch. This is a structural element with 50 megapascal in the x direction. Yes or no? 50 megapascal in the x direction. 40 megapascal in the y direction normal. Okay. 40 megapascal. And in the shear, the value is 30 megapascal. So these are the three stresses that is given to you in the question, which I am drawing at this point. Okay, now you have two planes. One is theta p1, other is theta p2. So theta p1 you are getting as 40.268. Okay, so I want to draw the theta, that is a plane that is making angle of 40.268 with respect to the vertical. Since it is positive, it will be clockwise, right? I can even draw 130.268, that is not a problem. So I'm just drawing a plane that is at an angle of 40.268 with respect to vertical. Okay, are you able to get my point? Now tell me one thing. If I draw a plane parallel to 40.268, if I draw a plane parallel to 40.268, what will be its inclination with respect to vertical? If I draw a parallel plane to the plane whose angle with respect to the vertical is 40.268, then what will be the angle of that parallel plane with respect to the vertical? Yes? Yes? What is the answer? 40.268 only? Yes or no? Okay. Now, I am drawing a plane perpendicular to 40.268. Okay. So can anyone tell me what is the angle this plane is making with respect to vertical? Yes, you have already found that. See, theta p2 is what? Theta p1 plus 90. So I'm adding 90, right? So what is the value? Nothing but 130.268. Are you able to get my point? Yes. Similarly, if I construct a plane parallel to the plane whose angle with respect to the vertical is 130.268, its angle will also be 130.268 degree. Any doubt in this part, sir? Any doubt in this part? Okay. So now what we know, look in the diagram, that theta P1 corresponds to, that is 40.268 correspond to sigma P1 of 75.41. Sigma P1 is nothing but normal stress, right? So at an angle of 40.268 degree plane, I need to show the normal stress. I need to show the normal stress that is tensile in nature since positive, and the value of stress that is acting will be, 75.41. The value of stress that is acting will be 75.41 megapascal. Okay. And in the perpendicular plane, that is the bearing with respect to the vertical is, the angle with respect to the vertical is 130.268. The value will be 14.59. 14.59 megapascal, right? So this is the complete representation of the stresses that you got. Okay. Any doubt in this diagram, please ask. Any doubt in this diagram, please ask. See why I have drawn two planes parallel to each other, because I can let you visualize the tension or compression. Are you clear? Right? If I draw only one line, how can you show that it is a tension or compression? So for that purpose only, to let you understand, I have drawn two parallel planes. Right? So just have a look on this particular diagram. Any doubt, please ask. So if you enjoyed this topic, please hit the like and share once. If you enjoyed this topic, please hit the like button and share once. Okay. Okay. Any doubt? Any doubt? Any doubt in this? Any doubt in this topic? Okay. So let us solve the next question. Question number 2. Question number 2. For the loading shown in the figure, for the loading shown in the figure, determine number of principal plane. Determine number of principal plane. For the loading shown in the figure, determine number of principal plane. Okay. So see here, the loading is given to you. This is a structural element. Okay. It is subjected to the loading such that it is subjected to the normal stress in the x and y direction, which is tensile, and the value is also same in both x and y. Okay, the value is also same in x and y. Okay, so you have been asked to find number of principal plane that exist. Okay, please comment in the comment box. Please comment in the comment box, those who are listening to the recorded section, and those who are listening to the live session, please comment in the live chat. Please comment in the live chat. Yes. Yes. What is the value? What is the value? What is the value? What is the value? For the loading shown in the figure, determine number of principal plane. For the loading shown in the figure, determine number of principal plane. You will ask to me, sir, what kind of question you are asking, sir? You already told you that in a 2D plane there are only two principal plane. Then what? The answer will be 2. Yes or no? This is what you are going to say. You are saying the answer will be 2. Let's see. whether it's 2 or 3 or 4 or 1 or 0 or any other value. Okay. So to understand this question, I'm letting you come back to the I'm letting you come back to the what? I'm letting you come back to the definition of the principal plane. So what is the definition of principal plane? Which plane can be said as a principal plane? Which plane can be said as a principal plane? The plane where shear stress is 0. Yes or no? The plane where shear stress is 0, we say that plane as a principal plane. Okay. So let me write, I'm giving you the solution. Okay. So let me write the equation for shear stress at any plane inclined angle theta with respect to horizontal. So what I can write? Sigma y minus sigma x into sine 2 theta by 2 plus tau hy into cos 2 theta. Okay. So what is sigma x? Sigma. What is sigma y? Sigma. What is tau hy? 0. So what the final value of tau h dash y has become? 0 plus 0, that is nothing but equal to 0. Getting the point? See, you haven't substituted any value of theta. Yes, you haven't substituted any value of theta. And without substituting the theta, the shear is coming 0 at all the planes. Yes or no? So we know that at a point there can be infinite number of planes, right? And since at all the points for any value of theta, tau h dash y dash equal to 0. Yes, that means at all the planes the shear is 0, which is indicating that all the planes are principal plane. That means there exists infinite principal plane. So what I'm saying, you are getting this value as 0, which is indicating what? Which is indicating what? For any value of theta, for any value of theta, tau h dash y dash is equal to 0, which is indicating that tau h dash y dash is 0 for all the planes passing through a point, because all the things you're talking at a point, through a point. And from here what we can say, that there are because at a point infinite plane can pass, so what we can add, there are infinite principal plane. Is it clear? Any doubt, please ask. Any doubt till now, please ask. Any doubt till now, please ask. Yes, any doubt till now, please ask. Sure? Okay. See then. So this type of loading as a special name, we name this as hydrostatic loading. We name this as hydrostatic loading. So what is this hydrostatic loading? Try to understand. What is this hydrostatic loading? Try to understand. Suppose I'm taking structural element. So this structural element will not be subjected to any shear. It will be subjected to only normal stresses, which are of the same nature and of same magnitude. Okay. So if sigma is acting in the x, then it will also act in y. Right. So if I am saying in one direction it is tension, then other also it will be tension. Are you getting my point? What can be the other possibility? For the hydrostatic loading? That suppose in one direction it is compressive of sigma, then the other also it will be compressive of sigma, right? And there is no shear. So this type of loading is referred as hydrostatic loading. This type of loading is referred as hydrostatic loading. So in hydrostatic loading, what we can write, normal stresses on perpendicular planes are equal and of same nature thereafter the shear stress is zero on the planes. Are you getting my point? So this type of loading is referred as hydrostatic loading. Is it clear? So what is hydrostatic loading? Is it clear? Yes? Okay then. Solve the third question of the principal stress. Third question. Okay, please write. What is said that in a structural element, if one of the principal stress is 100 megapascal, then determine first tau hy, second the value of second principal stress. One principal stress, okay, it is not saying major or minor, right? You need to determine. So value of second principal stress. The diagram is given to you. In X direction, there is a tensile of 80 megapascal. And in the Y direction, there is a compressive of 60 megapascal. So I'm not going to give you even the hint for solving this question. Try to solve on your own with the datas with the formulas Please try this. Yes, please try on your own. Get the value. See what formula you can use. Yes, don't use the calculator. I don't want you to use the calculator. Don't use calculator. No need of calculations. Don't use the calculator. Okay, one more thing. Where you will be asking, where is tau hy? Here. Okay. This is tau hy. Come on, get the result. Get the value of tau hy. 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 And then get the value of second principal stress. Yes. Yes. Any value, please comment in the comment box or the chat box. Any value you got, please comment in the comment box or chat box. Yes. Get the value fast. Don't use calculator, sir. Here you can give the time. In the exam, you don't have the time, right? So for that time saving purpose only, I am letting you take time, letting you spend time over here. Okay, so please get the value, get the value, get the value, get the value. Time is over, sir. Time is over now. Let me solve tau hy. Let's see whether you can get sigma p2 till then. Okay. So what is said? See, you have been given one value of principal stress. So I don't know whether it's a major or minor. Okay. So let me solve it. So if I write the equation, general equation sigma p1 p2, what I am going to get? Sigma x plus sigma y by 2 plus minus root over sigma x minus sigma y by 2 whole square plus tau hy whole square. Yes or no? So sigma p1 p2 what is given? In only one value is given, that is 100. I don't know whether it is sigma p1 or p2. I can know once I put the value. So sigma x is what? 80. Sigma is what? Y is what? Minus 60 divided by 2. Now just try to think 80 minus 60 by 2. At RHS the value is 100 at LHS, and at RHS the value is 80 minus 60 by 2, that is 20 by 2, that is 10. So I need to add something to get 100, or I need to subtract something to get 100. Come on, answer. I need to add something to get 100, or I need to subtract something to get 100. Yes, add obviously. So I'm adding it. What is the other value I'm getting? 80 minus 60 by 2 whole square plus tau hy whole square. So this is what is the value you are getting? 80 minus 60 by 2, that is 10. So 100 minus 10, this is equal to root over 80 plus 60, that is 140. 140 by 2 is 70. So I will get 70 square plus tau hy square. Okay. So 90 I am having the LHS. So if I square both sides, so it is 90 square. This is equal to 70 square plus tau hy whole square. So from here I get tau hy square is equal to 90 square minus 70 square. So if I remove the square term, so I will get the root. Yes. So what is root over a square minus b square? I can write what? A plus b into, that is what I can write. I can write as 90 plus 70 into 90 minus 70. Yes or no? I can write, right? So you get the value as root over 160 into 20. Now take something common. 16 root 4, 10 you can see. So outside is coming as 40, inside is root 2. Yes. So again, try to see how I'm going to solve. What is the value of root 2? What is the value of root 2? What is the value of root 2? 1.414. Yes or no? 1.414. This is the value of root 2. Now if I multiply with 2, you can do it. If I multiply with 2, what is the value? 2.828. If I again multiply by 2, you get the value as 5.656. Now if I multiply with 10, I will get 40 root 2, that is 56.56 megapascal. So this is your sigma tau hy. This is your tau xy. Is it clear? Is it clear? Yes, this is your tau xy. Now you got tau xy. Now please get sigma p2 first. You got tau xy. Now please get sigma p2 first. You got tau xy. Now please try to get sigma p2 first. Please try to get sigma p2 first. Yes, please try to get sigma p2 first. Please try to get sigma p2 first, because this 100 is what? This 100 is sigma p1 because you use the plus sign. So get sigma p2. Get sigma p2. Let me write the formula. Sigma p2. Yes, give the value fast. Mention in the comment box. Give the value fast. Mention in the comment box. Give the value fast. Mention in the comment box once you get the answer. Yes. Sigma p2. Sigma p2. Sigma h plus sigma y by 2 minus. Okay, see then. So what is the value of sigma h? 80. What is the value of sigma y? Minus 60 by 2 minus. Now, are you going to put tau hy as 40 root 2 or something like that and then you are going to do? No, sir. See, you already have, see this. You already have root over value. Can you understand that? You already have this value. So just substitute it. So that is nothing but 100 minus 10, that is 90. Are you able to understand? So what I'm going to do, this is 10 minus 90, which is nothing but minus 80 mega. Is it clear? Right. So this is the shortcut. This is the way we solve the objective question for the ESE. Right. The more you practice, the better you are going to become. That's not a big deal. You will be able to solve on your own, but it will take bit time, small time. Okay. Done. Ask a question if you are facing any problem. So all clear? Yes. All clear? Yes. Okay. Okay. See then. So we have seen what is principal stress, right? Shear stress is 0 on the principal plane, and the normal stress that is acting is the principal stress, and it is a maximum or minimum value of normal stress that can act at a point. Okay. Now we are moving to the next, that is maximum shear plane. Maximum shear plane. Now this is a topic in which the most of the students fail to understand where these planes are lying. Right, they don't understand. Literally I'm saying they don't understand. Okay, so just have a visual, just you need to visualize this. I'm guaranteeing you will understand. So what is maximum shear plane? See, out of the infinite number of planes that are passing through the point, having some definite value of normal and shear stress, there exists three principal plane. Sorry, there exists three plane at which shear stress is maximum. There exists three plane at which shear stress is maximum, and such a plane is referred as maximum shear plane. What I'm saying? What I'm saying to you, that out of the infinite number of planes, out of the infinite number of planes passing through a point, passing through a point, there exist there exist, out of the infinite number of planes passing through a point, there exist what? Three planes, that is three mutually perpendicular planes. Three mutually, I already told you the meaning of mutually perpendicular plane, that each planes are perpendicular to each other. So three mutually perpendicular planes at which shear stress is maximum, at which shear stress is maximum. Okay, such a plane is referred as maximum shear plane. Again and again the word comes principal, so it's okay, it is maximum shear plane. Okay, so this is one property. The second property that is said about the maximum shear plane is these planes are equally inclined to the principal plane. These planes are equally inclined to the principal plane. Now, to understand this, I'm giving you a way which I am quite sure you have never studied like this. Okay, just see. Let us take three direction, that is X, Y and Z. You are doing the analysis in 2D, but because the principal plane and shear plane are linking the 3D right now, so I need to explain that. So X, Y and Z. Okay, so can anyone tell me, if I say this first, if I say the other as second and I say the other as third, so can anyone tell me what is the name of the first plane? Can anyone tell me what is the name of the first plane? Yes, can anyone tell me what is the name of the first plane? Look at the direction X, Y, Z. Can anyone tell me what is the name of the first plane? Yes, I have already guided this. I have already let you understand this. You can see the stress chapter, the first chapter, that is first lecture of the second unit, that is lecture number 3. You can see this. So what is this plane? Very good. It is, first is Y Z plane. Yes or no? First is YZ plane. Now what is second? What is second? What is the name of the second plane? What is the name of the second plane? What is the name of the second plane? It is HZ plane. Yes or no? It is HZ plane. Okay. Then what is the name of the third plane? What is the name of the third plane? The third plane is XY plane. Is it clear? Is it clear? So what I am saying to you, that let us say the principal stress are acting on these planes. Okay, I just assumed a condition that principal stress are acting on these planes. I'm not saying necessarily it will act on this plane. It may act at an angle also, right? So just I'm saying that. So this, along the X I'm saying sigma P1, along Y I'm saying sigma P2, and along Z I'm saying sigma P3. Are you able to understand this? Yes or no? Is it clear till now? Is it clear till now? Is it clear till now? So if I look in the XY plane, if I look in the, you can understand that all these are mutually perpendicular, right? All these three planes are mutually perpendicular to each other. Yes or no? All these planes are mutually perpendicular to each other. That I'm talking about the principal plane. Right, now I'm coming for the shear plane. Now I'm coming for the shear plane. So for the shear plane, see, I am seeing first in the XY plane. So for XY plane, look at the XY plane. So if you look at the XY plane, dear, if you look at the XY plane, right? Look at the XY plane. So in the XY plane, you cannot see the other two planes. If you look in the XY plane, then the thickness you cannot see, right? Sigma P3 you cannot see. You can see only sigma P1 and sigma P2. You can see only sigma P1 and sigma P2. I will let you visualize this plane. Don't worry. Okay. So what does this say? What does this say? That the maximum shear plane are equally inclined to the principal plane. Yes or no? So where the shear plane will lie? The shear plane will lie at an angle 45 degree to the two planes. Can you understand this? Yes or no? Right. This is your shear plane. This is your shear plane which I am writing. This is maximum shear plane. This is maximum shear plane. Right. This is maximum shear plane. Okay. So the shear which is acting on this plane, I am showing. Suppose this is the shear that is acting on this maximum shear plane. I am writing this shear as tau max 1. I am writing this shear as tau max 1. Okay. So this tau max 1 is given by what? Sigma P1 minus sigma P2 by 2. Okay. I'm not going to prove this, not required. Okay. So this is the maximum shear that you are getting in the maximum shear that you are getting in the XY plane, that when you are considering the XY plane. Okay. So I'm writing here also maximum shear in XY plane is nothing but equal to tau max 1. Is it clear? Now look in the YZ plane. Look in the YZ plane. I'm not in a hurry to let you understand. No, I'm never. You should understand slowly and gradually. Okay. You will reach the success, I'm sure. Now look at the YZ plane. So if you're looking at the YZ plane, you cannot see sigma P1. You can see sigma P2. You can see sigma P3. Yes or no? So I'm just drawing this YZ plane. Okay. So in one direction I'm seeing sigma P2. In one direction I'm seeing sigma P2. Okay. And in the other direction I'm seeing sigma P3. In the other direction I'm seeing sigma P3. Can you visualize this, dear? Yes. In one direction I can see sigma P2. In other I can see sigma P3. I'm using YZ plane. So when I'm using YZ plane, you cannot see the normal that is acting on the YZ plane. You can see the perpendicular only. Right. So from here, if I look at the maximum shear plane as per the definition, then this maximum shear plane will be equally inclined to the principal plane. Okay. Will be equally inclined to the principal plane. And let us say the maximum shear that is acting on this maximum shear plane, that is in YZ. So it is tau max 2. Okay. So out of all the planes, the maximum shear in YZ plane is tau max 2. Okay. So what is tau max 2 given by? This is sigma P2 minus P3 by 2, or you can write sigma P3 minus sigma P2 by 2. There is no problem. There is no error that is going to come, because I am concerned with the magnitude, not the sign. Okay. So if someone asks you what is the maximum shear in YZ plane, what is maximum shear in YZ plane? So what should be your answer? Your answer should be tau maths 2. Is it clear? Your answer should be tau maths 2. Similarly, now look at the last left, that is HZ plane. Now who can tell me what are the stresses that I can see in the HZ plane? What are the stresses that I can see in the HZ plane? Yes. What are the stresses I can see in the HZ plane? Yes. What are the stresses I can see in the HZ plane? Yes. Sigma P1 and sigma P3. I cannot see sigma P2. Yes or no? So if I draw the diagram, in one direction I can see sigma P1. Okay. And in the other direction I can see sigma P3. Is it clear? You can see sigma P3. So what is said as per the definition? The maximum shear plane is equally inclined to the principal plane. The maximum shear plane is equally inclined to the principal plane. Okay. So this shear that is acting on this plane, maximum shear plane, I am saying as tau max 3. Okay. So what is tau max 3 given by? Tau max 3. Nothing but I can write this as sigma P1 minus sigma P3 by 2. You can also write sigma P3 minus sigma P1 by 2. That's not a problem. There is no error. Okay. Because I'm concerned, again I'm repeating, I'm concerned only with the magnitude, not with the sign. So what is the maximum shear? What is the maximum shear in HZ plane? Maximum shear in HZ plane. What is the maximum shear? Nothing but tau max 3. Okay. So please have a look at this part. There's something different which you cannot see at any place. It's my guarantee. Okay. So please have a look. Please visualize this. Please visualize this. Any problem, please ask. I've shown you the different plane. I've shown you the stresses acting on this plane. I'm showing you the tau max. Okay. Now let me show this here itself. See this. Here, in the XY plane, I am showing, in the XY plane, I am showing what? Sigma P, your tau max 1. This is tau max 1 plane. This is tau max 1 plane. Okay. Then the other, look at this. For YZ plane, for YZ plane, you can imagine 90 degree. Okay. This is what? Tau max 2 plane. Okay. This is tau max 2 plane. And other is this direction. Right. So this is your tau max 3 plane. This is your tau max 3 plane. Now you can visualize that these all are perpendicular to each other. Okay, you can see the different plane. No, it is not acting in the inclined direction to it. These are acting at 90 degree because these are acting on a plane which are itself 90 degree. Yes or no? So these are at 90 degree to each other. You need to visualize that. Try to visualize that. You can see this one direction other than out of in the HZ plane, the other one. Right. So you can see the angle that is 90 degree. Okay, between the planes. Okay. Is it clear? Right. So these planes are equally inclined and perpendicular to each other. That is mutually perpendicular. Any doubt? Any doubt, please ask. Any doubt, please ask. Any doubt, please ask. Any doubt, please ask. Is it clear? Right. So I have found the maximum shear in the three perpendicular planes. Now I want to find the maximum shear stress at a point. I know 3D stresses. I know what are the stresses acting in the 3D at the different plane. What is the maximum value at the different plane? Right, in 3 dimension, right, at the respective planes. But if someone asks you what is the maximum shear stress that is acting at this point for which I am drawing the structural element, so what is the maximum shear stress at the point? What is the maximum shear stress at the point? That is nothing but maximum of tau max 1, tau max 2 and tau max 3. Now see, this tau max 1, tau max 2 or tau max 3 you are going to find only when you know sigma P1, P2 and P3. Because if you don't know sigma P1, if you don't know sigma P3 and you know sigma P1, P2, you can find only tau max 1. Yes, and that is the maximum shear that you are going to say. But if you know sigma P1, P2, P3 all, then you need to find the maximum corresponding to tau max 1, tau max 2 and tau max 3. Please make this as a note. Please make this as a note. Because most of the time the student make an error in this part. When it's a in plane shear stress, in plane means in a plane. The stress is acting in a plane. Are you getting my point? In plane means the stress is acting in a plane. Okay. So then this is about the inclination. This is the second point. Let us move to the third point. What does the third point say? That the normal stress acting on these planes are same. Now to visualize this again, see, suppose I'm saying tau max 1. I'm talking the XY plane. In XY plane I'm talking about. So in XY plane you are having tau max 1. Okay. So suppose you develop a plane that is having tau max 1. So this is subjected to a shear. Let me draw it properly. This is subjected to a shear which is tau max 1. Okay. Now is it balanced? Is it balanced in this direction? No. So for balancing, I'm drawing another parallel plane. For balancing, I'm drawing another parallel plane. And on that parallel plane, I am showing the shear in the opposite direction. Okay. So this is your tau max 1. Got my point? Now, is it again balanced? Can you see a couple in the clockwise direction? Yes. So if you see a couple in the clockwise direction, you need to balance with the opposite couple. And there comes the complementary. Yes or no? So I'm drawing the perpendicular plane. So we know that the stress that is going to develop will be equal and of opposite nature. So tau max 1 is creating the clockwise. So I will develop tau max 1 only, but it will create an anti-clockwise rotation. So this is a concept of complementary which I already discussed earlier. Yes or no? For those who joined late, just a reminder. See, tau max 1 is acting downward. That is down. So first I'm balancing it. But while doing the balancing, it is creating a clockwise couple. So for that, I need to create an anti-clockwise couple in the perpendicular plane. And from the equality of shear stress, we know that this shear will be equal to the applied shear. Okay. Now, so what I'm saying that normal stress acting on these planes are same. So what I mean by that, if I say the normal stress acting on the tau max 1 plane is sigma n1, then on the perpendicular plane also it will be sigma n1 and of the same nature. Okay, this is the meaning of normal stresses are same. This is the meaning of normal stresses are same. Are you able to get this? Yes or no? Now, it doesn't mean that on tau max 2 it will be sigma n1. No, not necessarily. It depends on the principal stress value. So suppose on the YZ plane you have sigma P2, P3. So on the YZ plane I'm talking about. On the YZ plane I'm talking about. So on the YZ plane, the shear you are showing as tau max 2. Okay. So again I'm taking a parallel plane which will be balancing the shear. But while doing so, it is creating a couple. So I need to balance that couple with the opposite couple nature. So the applied couple is in clockwise. So I will be balanced with the anti-clockwise couple with the same magnitude of the stress, that is tau max 2. Yes, tau max 2. Okay. And the normal stress that is acting, I'm just showing the normal way of stress, that is tensile. The normal stress acting on this plane will be, I'm writing a sigma n2. So if one is sigma n2, then all will be sigma n2. And it is not necessarily be equal to sigma n1. It is not necessarily be equal to sigma n1. It is not necessarily be equal to sigma n1. Similarly, if I take last plane that is left, that is HZ plane. If I take HZ plane, then on the HZ plane, if I show the maximum shear plane, that is having the shear of tau max 3, let us say. So for in the parallel plane, it will be balanced by the opposite shear, that is tau max 3. But since it is creating a clockwise couple, it will balanced by the opposite couple in the perpendicular direction, and that is also having the shear stress of tau max 3. Okay. Now if I am showing the normal stress, this normal stress need not be necessarily be equal to sigma n1 and sigma n2. So I'm writing this as sigma n3. But for if one plane I'm saying sigma n3, then for others also I should be show sigma n3. Is it clear? Is it clear to all? Yes or no? Is it clear to all? So this is the third point for the maximum shear plane, and I'm giving you the guarantee no one in this particular field will give you the guidance of the maximum shear plane like this. Okay? Is it clear? Is it clear? Now, so we have taken 2 points. One is the shear stress is maximum on the maximum shear plane, and second is it is equally inclined to the principal plane. So first, taking the point that shear stress is maximum on the maximum shear plane, I am going to find the location of maximum shear plane. So location of maximum shear plane. Location of maximum shear plane. So how to find the location? What I said, I will be using the concept that the shear acting on this plane is maximum. Okay. So tau h dash y dash, what I used to write, sigma y minus sigma x into sine 2 theta by 2 plus tau hy into cos 2 theta. This is the formula we are having. So for shear to be maximum or minimum, what we are going to write, d times of tau h dash y dash by d theta, this is equal to 0. Now please let me differentiate. So constants I'm taking out, that is sigma y minus sigma x by 2. What is the differentiation of sine 2 theta? What is the differentiation of sine 2 theta? Yes, 2 cos 2 theta. Very good. And what is the differentiation of cos 2 theta? What is the differentiation of cos 2 theta? Yes, what is the differentiation of cos 2 theta? Minus 2 sine 2 theta. Is it clear? So from here, I'm equating this equal to 0. So 2 cancelled out. Let me take the other term opposite side. So I get sigma y minus sigma x into cos 2 theta. This is equal to 2 tau hy into sine 2 theta. Yes or no? So from here I get tan 2 theta is equal to 2 tau hy upon sigma y minus sigma x. So I'm writing this as minus 2 tau hy upon sigma y minus, just a minute, I made a error. So this tan 2 theta I'm writing as sigma y minus sigma x upon 2 tau hy. Okay, so can I write this as 1 by 2 tau hy upon sigma y minus x? Yes or no? Can I also write this as minus 1 by 2 tau hy, because I'm taking minus outside, so I can write as sigma x minus sigma y? Yes or no? So I'm getting tan 2 theta tau, because I'm talking for the shear, I'm getting tan 2 theta tau is equal to minus 1 by 2 tau hy sigma x minus sigma y. Okay, any doubt in this part? Any doubt in this part? Please ask. Any doubt in this part? Please ask. Yes. Any doubt in this part? Please ask. Any doubt in this part? Please ask. Sure? No doubt? Shall we move then? Okay. So with this location, I'm going to prove that the maximum shear plane is equally inclined to the principal plane. Okay. So prove that maximum shear plane is equally inclined to the principal plane. Okay. So for this, I just need the location of both maximum shear plane and principal plane. Okay. See then, what we can write? We have seen that tan 2 theta p, that is the location of principal plane, we obtain as 2 tau hy upon sigma x minus sigma y. Yes or no? We obtain tan 2 theta p is equal to 2 tau hy upon sigma x minus sigma y. This is my first equation. Okay. I just obtained tan 2 theta tau. Tan 2 theta tau is equal to, see here, that's why I've written like this. So minus 1 upon 2 tau hy upon sigma x minus sigma y. Can you understand this? Yes. So this is my second equation. Okay. Now if I put 2 in 1 or 1 in 2, better to say put 1 in 2. Put 1 in 2. Put 1 in 2. So what we are going to get? If I put 1 in 2, what I am going to get? Tan 2 theta p is equal to minus 1 by what? Tan 2 theta, that is tan 2 theta tau is equal to minus 1 by tan 2 theta p. Yes or no? So from here, what you get? Tan 2 theta p into tan 2 theta tau. This is equal to minus 1. Tan 2 theta p into tan 2 theta tau. This is equal to minus 1. Okay, now what is tan 2 theta? Nothing but a slope. Yes, And what is tan 2 theta tau? Nothing but a slope. Okay. So we have some basic in our mind. What is that basic? We know that if there are two lines, one is having a slope of m1 and other is having a slope of m2. Okay. And these are perpendicular to each other. Then there is a relation that is m1 into m2 is equal to -1. Yes. And which I can write in the numerical form also. Suppose one angle is theta 2 and the other is theta 1. Then we write as mod of theta 2 minus theta 1. This is equal to 90 degree. Yes or no? Yes or no? We write this? Yes. So from this point, see here, what we can write? Mod of 2 theta p minus 2 theta tau. This is equal to 90 degree. Yes or no? So what is theta p minus theta tau? Mod, this is 45 degree. So I will let you understand that with this relation, I have proved that planes are mutually, that the maximum shear plane is equally inclined to the principal plane. Okay. And for this, I need to show you the structural element. See this structural element. So on the structural element, first I am showing you the principal plane. First I am showing you the principal plane. So one plane is containing sigma p1. Now I am not going to show you the normal direction. Okay, I am just writing this is sigma. This is a maximum principal plane that is containing sigma p1. This is minimum principal plane that is containing sigma p2. Okay. So let us say the plane is making an angle of theta p1 with respect to vertical and the other plane is making angle of theta p2 with respect to vertical. Okay. So I know that what is the relation between theta p1 and theta p2. That theta p2 I can write as nothing but equal to theta p1 plus 90. Yes or no? I can write this. Theta p2 is equal to nothing but theta p1 plus 90. I can write this, dear. Yes or no? Is it clear? So now I need to represent theta tau. I need to represent theta tau. So what I know, this theta should come with respect to vertical only. Yes or no? This theta should come with respect to vertical only. So if this theta is coming with respect to vertical only, so I know from the relation that the difference of the angle between theta p and theta tau must be equal to 45. So it is clearly indicating that this angle is 45. Yes or no? And the other is also, since the total angle is 90 between principal plane, so other will also 45 degree. Other will also be 45 degree. Other will also be 45 degree. Is it clear? Is it clear? Yes. Is this point clear to all? See what I am saying, just visualize. First I have drawn a structural element. Okay. In that I have shown you sigma p1 and sigma p2. Okay. So sigma p1 I am making it angle of theta p1 and sigma p2 I am making an angle of theta p2. Okay. So then I'm showing that, let me give the name also. Suppose this I am showing as, let me change the color, you will understand. Green is not there, so I can use a green. So let me say that this is, the sigma p1 is the maximum principal plane. This sigma p2, the plane containing sigma p2 is minimum principal plane, and the plane containing tau mass is maximum shear plane. Are you able to get my point? Yes or no? So these are the three planes that you can see, and you can clearly see that the angle is that the maximum shear plane is bisecting the plane, the angle between sigma p1 and sigma p2 plane, right? So the angle difference between the planes are nothing but 45 degree, which is clearly indicating that it is equally inclined to the principal plane. Is it clear? Is this point clear, sir? Yes. Is this point clear to all? Is this point clear to all? Anything that you need to ask in the maximum shear plane? Yes. Anything that you need to ask in the maximum shear plane? The questions that we have solved today. Yes. Okay. So how many students are planning to prepare for ESE? How many students are planning to prepare for ESE? Because see, in the ESE, you cannot just focus on the technical, you have to focus on the non-tech portion also. Because if you don't qualify the non-tech portion, there is no use of giving the technical, because you are not sufficiently, you will not get the sufficient marks to qualify, right? So you should focus both on the technical and non-tech, right? So how many students are willing to prepare for non-tech portion? Okay, so our first batch of non-tech is starting from 1st of June, right? So all those who want to go for the subscription can enroll in that, right? Use our code as you are studying from us, right? Use our code, and as you can see, our code is bar 10. So 1st June we are starting the batch. Okay, so use our code and get enrolled. Okay, 15th of June we are starting the rank improvement batch, and in the rank improvement batch you will be seeing around 250 to 300 questions per subject. So this is especially for those who have given the GATE once, right, and ESE once. For them we are starting this batch. Okay, and one more thing, if you go for the subscription, then you don't require to subscribe for one batch then other batch. No, all will come under one subscription. So that is the biggest advantage that the students are going to avail with this subscription. Okay, this is the biggest advantage that you are going to avail with the subscription. Yes. So I already told you, if you go for the subscription, there are many benefits that you are having. Okay, you can see the different batches are there. Ignite batch is there, or some GATE. You can see the Ignite batch for GATE plus ESE 2021, right? That is for electrical, then civil, right? Then Mission GATE 221 part 2 and part 1 is there, right? HCL batch is there. Okay, then see the different way of teaching. There is a way of teaching. Now you can understand the thing which I'm showing you here, right, while drawing the diagram. If I can show that 3D image just by projecting itself, then you can visualize it much better, right? There's a separate doubt clearing session, right? You know that. And for subscription, see very clearly, those who are passed out, they can go for 6 months or 12 months depending on their need, right, and their budget. And those who are for one in the 3rd year, they can go for 1.5 year subscription or 2 year subscription depending on them. So use my code BAR10 if you like my teaching, right? Please use my code if you like my teaching. So currently you can post your doubts on the Facebook with this ID. Please note down this email ID. Those who have not written till now, please subscribe to that. Please like that page. You will get the notification. You can post in that. And all the lectures I'm continuously posting in the Telegram group. So please see to it. And last but not the least, those who have joined just now, please subscribe to our channel so that more and more people can get joined. Okay, and please share the link with your friends so that not only you get benefited but they also get benefited, and we can make this as a one-stop solution. We are trying to make this as a one-stop solution. We are giving our level best. Okay, so let's see, we'll meet tomorrow.